An orca. Hello, sir. Sorry to intrude. I just noticed you over here.
Yeah, you scared the shit out of me coming out of the water, I'll be honest.
I apologize. It wasn't my intention.
That's alright.
I'm Richard. I'm a state marshal here.
Ah, a marshal.
Yeah. And you?
I'm Arthur. Arthur MaGuire.
Arthur, nice to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine.
May I ask why you're out here?
Talking to the wind and an old friend.
Mr.
That's
Castillo?
about it. No, not Mr. Castillo. Although an old friend he is. A more recent loss.
Ah, Mr. White, is it? Didn't fancy this swim over, did you? I don't blame you.
I try to avoid that island if I can. I know most people are more than happy to go visit it and talk to those that I would deem it unwise to talk to. I personally like to believe I have at least some sense of the matter.
Sense is sparse these days.
Truer words have never been said. A lot of foolish people.
Yeah. There's a lot of hopeless people too.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard from anybody?
Could you be a little more specific than that?
I'm going to assume, given
Okay.
your relations with these folk, that maybe might have been part of the group that had attempted to converse with those who have passed.
Perhaps that is true. Although I myself am not gifted or have enough talent or wit to be the primary focus of that.
Pretty much that there's someone who fits that description. But I'm happy to stand correct.
I think there are some with greater ability than I. Some who possess magics. Some that are better at pieces of a puzzle together.
Sure. What's your talent then?
Well, I could talk your ear off if given the opportunity to.
Most Irishmen can.
A few quotes here and there, and perhaps some pointless words of wisdom are my main talents. But words often fall on deaf ears in this city, from what I've learned.
You're not wrong. So how about a few words of wisdom?
For you,
For me?
I hardly know you, Mr. Dark. How can I give you some wise words?
I'm sure you've heard things, yeah.
Smallest of tidbits, perhaps, but in truth, I am not overly familiar with you. As I said, I am not a primary inquisitor, perhaps, is the word to use. Merely one who cares enough to help as much as I can. But I'm curious as to why you are on that island. To have a marshal here, a great resource and man of esteem.
I don't know about that. But I can tell you that this feels more and more day by day less of a job for a marshal. What I'm trying to say is coming here is definitely becoming less of a job, more of a necessity. Yeah.
Some would call the end of the world a necessity, sure.
Yeah, maybe I downplayed it.
It's not every day you have godlike entities roaming around.
Well, it's happened twice already. Can't be that unusual.
An interesting bunch. Well, from what I know, at least. How do you intend to stop the end of the world, might I ask?
With great difficulty. I'll be honest, I got no idea. Kind of why I'm here. See if there was a sign. I mean, I can tell you last time I was here, there was a bush on the island there. And it lit up and burned away.
A means of communication, from what I know.
The bush?
I believe so. But then again, I am only there to help. There are those who know far more than I.
Don't downplay yourself, Arthur. Perspective's important.
Perspective. A word not used enough. I'm always a fan of perspective. And those that may provide it.
Well, I gained some pretty new perspective recently, but
I'm all ears if you wish to share it.
I haven't quite digested it myself yet. But maybe once I have. But you now have two friends on the other side.
Hmm.
You got any plans about that?
There are avenues. How safe those avenues are, I'm not sure.
Well, by me, the avenue that Mr. White took wasn't exactly the safest.
An avenue out of necessity, though, in my belief.
Sure, that's what Edgar said too.
No. Edgar's is much different. Fred's heart was in the right place when he made that deal. For what he believed needed to be done. Not many seem to understand that bit, though.
I'm sure if they were on the other side of that necessity, they wouldn't be too happy.
Even if you do not agree with one's actions, one can still respect the heart and intent of it. Obviously, a deal is a drastic measure, but I can understand why it occurred. I can respect the heart that he showed and his reasoning behind all of it, regardless of whether or not it was against my own interests or for them. Perspective is always important, as you said.
Well, if Fred is in the same place that Edgar is, regardless of what he did or might have done, can't help but feel sorry for the guy.
It is an It is a poor place to be, for sure. A deathless death of sorts.
It's underselling it for sure.
But I'm typically in the belief that it's the living that should be pitied. For death is a peace of sorts, in many ways.
I don't necessarily disagree. Yeah. Most people are hollow. Just going about their day to day, yearning for money or some other use.
Rare to find a man that thinks of life in such a way. I'm glad, at least, that you think in a similar manner to myself. Purpose behind life is always important. I think too many seem to forget that. They simply do.
Yeah.
If I might be so bold, I could not but overhear a slight cough as you approached.
Yeah, I'm not doing too great. Let's just put it that way.
Hmm. Upset Dr. Smith, have you?
Yeah.
I see. Personally, I must say, I rather like the man. He's rather interesting. Albeit dangerous, of course.
I think the interesting parts come from who he was.
Hmm.
The man in him, you know.
I'm sure. Although I do not know much about that man. Merely what little I know of what currently resides inside of it. We mentioned perspective a couple of times. And perspective, definitely something that it has.
True. But from its own mouth, it's seen a lot, but it hasn't felt anything.
Hmm.
Also said it's seen what's to come. Whenever that is, yeah.
Hmm.
Worryingly,
There was
he
a
said, we're not prepared.
That is rather concerning.
Say that again.
There was a blood moon, I believe. Perhaps last night or the night before.
Yesterday morning,
Ah. I was rather concerned about the blood moon, given some passages in Revelations referencing said moon. But it seems like all is okay for now, at least.
what kind of passages?
Oh. Revelations 6:12, if I'm not mistaken. I might have a more specific line if you wish to hear it.
Please.
I watched as he opened the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red. And the stars in the sky fell to earth as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. A rather ominous passage.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you there was a pretty bad storm yesterday. I'm sure you felt it.
I was there. It was the first thing that concerned me, in honesty, but it passed. I suppose time will tell what is to come.
Yeah. Just how much time did we got?
A good question.
It was,
One I do not know the answer to.
yeah. For any of us. Nice meeting you all, though. I'll leave you to your... Give you some
Pleasure was
peace.
on mine. I shall keep rambling onto the wind.
I hope next time we run into each other, it's on better terms.
Well, I hope so, and I hope your illness abates.
I doubt it will.
Stay safe, Mr. Dark.
You too, Mrs. McGuire. Who's calling me?
Swear to God, if it's Carpet, I might be pissed off. Oh, it's Princess.
Hey, princess.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe I caught you. Hi, I woke up early today because I have been trying to get a hold of you or any marshal worth their salt, but it seems that it's very difficult to do that these days.
What can I help you with?
Well, for one, I'm very glad to hear that you're back. I know that you were not doing so good for a while, so I'm happy you're doing better.
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay, are you still like head of investigation of all the crazy everything is awful in the world?
I mean, I am doing my investigation. I don't know whether I'm the head of it still, because,
Well, I
from
can
what,
assure you that if you're doing it, you are the head of it, because no one else is doing anything.
then yes, I guess I am.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even, at this point, you know, I have been trying to do my due diligence and give information to marshals as I can, but most of it goes nowhere, I think. But I'm very glad to know that someone competent is involved.
Okay.
Uh, I don't even know where I even left off. Last time we spoke ages back. You know, like I was sick for a while. You were sick for a while. I'm better now. I don't know how you are doing. Um, I got I was being hunted by the faceless for a little bit. Now I'm okay on that front, I think.
You were being hunted by
Uh,
the faceless.
yeah, I don't know if you were told about what happened, but there was a leak somewhere, and I got robbed. They took my wedding ring and nothing else. Sorry, my wedding ring and a notebook that I carry that has my notes
I did
on.
hear about that, yeah.
Yeah, and you know why that happened?
Not exactly.
I got a phone call saying we'll give you your wedding ring back and your notebook if you give us the classified martial dossier on the faceless. Those words exactly.
Yes.
Um, I managed to smooth things over with someone who I guess works closely with him. And I got my wedding ring back, so that's nice, I guess. But it's uh, still, I guess, concerning to some extent. I also, I don't know, just I these days I get so confused as to who I can speak with about what. I accidentally happened upon a meeting in the middle of, the lake in Mount Gordo, between Oshira and Pestilence, and so now I don't feel like I don't know what
She's no
she's doing
longer
on this
employed.
whole. I know. But I kind of thought that she was at least like I don't know, not having secret meetings with Pestilence.
I
But
don't know what she's
relax.
up to, I'll be honest. But I wouldn't trust her.
Dark, I think the issue I'm facing is that I'm finding that that's the case with more and more people. Uh, Also, yesterday someone came to me and say, "Hey, Norman Bones asked me to give you his phone number." So now I have that, I guess. Um, I I tried to talk to I talked to Chris Peters. I know he's kind of a new marshal, but I was asking him about whether there's anything that I can do in terms of there are certain things that people say openly to me that they will not say openly to a marshal, and uh, I want to help as much as I can because to me it seems the world rests in the balance, and so if there's anything that I'm needed for, I'm happy to do anything, and I know you know uh, things are dangerous, and I if there's any information that the marshals need that they need someone to go in and get, I'm happy to do that.
I don't know much about going anywhere and getting anything, but obviously anything that you hear, I don't know what I don't have until I hear it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
obviously
I
anything
mean,
you hear, just let me know.
and it's hard to tell what is valuable information and what is not. My at this point, it's also hard to tell what is already common knowledge and what I have heard. Uh, what I guess I think Pestilence is sick with something. Something's wrong with him, and my personal belief is that Isaac isn't as dead as Pestilence wants us to believe. Um, I have seen things directly from him, weird sort of things that make it seem as though he's fighting with himself. And perhaps it's just a theory at this point, but I don't think that. I think he wants everyone to believe that Isaac is dead and it's just Pestilence now, but I don't think that's true. Uh, I also the book that everyone was passing around, The Cure, um, kind of seemed, I don't know, similar to the whole. Well, I don't know. I'm sure that's just theoretical at this point, I guess.
Similar to what?
The, I mean, a idea of, okay, you give someone a sickness so that you can give them a cure, but the cure is actually something that alters their mind in some way and perhaps makes them stronger but more docile in a way that gives them, makes them useful for things. That seems kind of like something else.
Like what, though? Sorry, I may be misunderstanding. I understand what you're saying about the cure, but what does it seem similar to?
I don't know, like some kind of neurotoxin?
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just from what I've seen from people, and I don't know. There's been some things here and there that make it seem as though there's some sort of connection. Um, yeah, and then there's the whole, I guess, I'm just trying to think at this point, of what else I might have information-wise that you don't already know. I'm sure you know most of things. Craig
I
died
mean,
because he had a deal.
he's a,
Sure, that's
wait, Craig?
no
Oh,
Frederick White,
yes.
Freg.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah, and you know about his deal and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's I guess, bullet dodged or something. Um,
But I
I'm
mean, he's
sure.
dead,
Yeah,
so I don't think he dodged any bullets.
all the rest of us did. Apparently, there was a list of 6 people that he had to kill as part of the deal.
You think
I
you were
think
on
he
that
only
list?
got like 3. I could have been. I don't know. Um, I don't think so because I think it was the people on the list were people that Norman has some sort of distaste for, and I don't think that Norman has a distaste for me, especially considering that he wants me to text him or something. Um,
Okay.
but I know Bobby Beldrum was on that list. I know Oshira was meant to be, but Craig made his deal to protect her, and so Sooty was on the list instead.
Fred made his deal to protect Oshira?
Freg made so originally Benicio Delgado made a deal because he was forced into it. It was like Norman had a knife to someone's throat. I'll kill them if you don't make a deal. So he said, "Okay, I'll make the deal." They were going to cover the like the specifics of the deal the next day, but Freg, in an effort to preempt that and protect Benny, um, went to Norman directly and said, "I will make a deal to kind of override Benny's deal, and I will give you the caveats." He thought he could outsmart Norman Bones. He's been saying this since the start, that he thinks, oh, people don't, they don't understand that you have to make deals where you put everything in words so that he can't trick you and stuff like that. Whatever. He was an idiot. May he rest in peace or something. He made the deal so that he would kill people for Norman Bones, but he would not have to kill. There were three names. Benicio Delgado would be protected, Oshira Petros and Alice Omen. Notably, two of them are Tripas. Alice and Benny are Tripas with Freg. Bobby Belgium was also Tripas, didn't put him on the list, and so Bobby ended up one of the people that they had to kill. So Freg and Benicio, after going after Sooty, they went after Bobby. Bobby got away from them. I still don't know how Freg died, but I think, no, I do actually. Bobby told me. Bobby was gonna go kill him, but Norman got to him first. I guess he didn't fulfill the deal. Maybe there was a deadline. But Bobby said that he would have killed Freg because his life was in danger. Freg was actively hunting him, and so Bobby felt that he had no choice but to go after him first. But then he said that Norman got to him sooner. So I don't know what the case is now with Benny, if Benny's deal is still on. But yeah, I don't know why Oshira was one of the ones protected. I don't know if Freg and Oshira had something going on. But I did see, like I said, I happened upon what must have been a pre-planned meeting between Oshira and Pestilence. McNulty was there too.
When was this?
This was the day after Sooty got stabbed. So before Freg died. I thought that maybe it was related to Sooty getting stabbed, because when she got stabbed, she got sick. And since she is Oshira's sister, it seems plausible to me that Oshira might have been trying to talk to Pestilence to get her unsick.
It's Sooty what?
Sooty Gamwich? Or Boom Boom the Clown. She has blue hair, she's Oshira's sister. She never had any part in this, but I think that because Norman wanted to hurt Oshira, but couldn't because of the specifications of the deal, he went after her sister instead. And it was interesting that she got sick during it, because that kind of goes against, I mean, if it were Norman who wanted her to get hurt, but then it would imply that Norman and Pestilence were working together on something, which doesn't seem like it fits with anything that I know of them.
Right. Okay. You said
I
you
will also say that, yeah?
Sorry to circle back, but you said you smoothed over the Facer situation with somebody. Who was that?
Well, I'll tell you this, and I hope that it will remain. I don't want you to go after this person, because I'm sure you already know. Matthew Colby, the lifer.
I see. Yeah.
Who escaped. He apparently, he and I had a conversation about my wedding ring getting stolen and stuff like that. And apparently, when Matt went back to his cell, the Faceless was waiting for him and told him, kill her, or you'll end up like AK and Cassie.
Cassie Miller?
No, Cassie Carlisle.
Oh yeah, the Cassie Miller's the Saints.
Yeah. Oh, and if that's new information too, perhaps Cassie Carlisle escaped prison almost, or escaped or was taken from prison. There was a whole investigation, but she was shot in the back of the head about 3 days after she supposedly escaped. And I found out that that was because she had been marked by the Faceless. I didn't know about this until I found out about her, but I guess apparently the Faceless gives out like black cards to people that are marked and people who have failed him. And apparently, usually they mean death. Sometimes they mean, sometimes you can get, I guess, redeem yourself. Apparently, Edgar, before he died, had gotten marked a couple of times.
How did
But
you find out that Cassie was marked?
that would be from Matt Colby. He was close with Tripas, with Edgar. Apparently, Cassie was withholding some information from the Faceless, and so he had her killed. I, for a while, thought that it wasn't that he had actually had her killed. I thought that he had potentially somehow brainwashed her because I had a theory that the person who stole my wedding ring was actually her under a different identity, but I don't know at this point. I think it's possible that she was just killed. Um, but yeah, they.
Okay.
I was able to convince Matt that that I didn't have access to the whatever information he wanted from me, the Faceless wanted from me, because deputy mayor. I don't know why I would.
What did
And
they want? What info?
they wanted the classified Marshall dossier on the Faceless.
Okay.
Um,
You have any idea how they
and
knew about that?
that's why I was concerned about the leak. I did let the marshals know about that concern, but Matt also mentioned that the Faceless somehow uh, he somehow he knew about the conversation that Matt and I had, even though I don't know if he's just another just like Norman and Isaac. They're always watching. They've always got eyes everywhere. It's impossible to keep things from them. Although I guess if it's impossible to keep things from them, I don't know why they would need the classified document anyway. Um, but yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people really had access to that document, so
Yeah.
not sure where that could have come from, but yeah.
You
Anyway,
should have
Matt gave me
the
my.
document.
Hmm.
You should have the dossier.
I do, yes.
Where is it?
It's in my apartment in a case with a locked with a code. No one knows the code except me.
Okay. Yeah, this is some of this is new information, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
So, how's your? I know before I kind of went into hospital, your relationship with the PD wasn't doing too great.
I mean, my relationship with the police is perfectly fine. It's literally just Aaron Carter, and so I haven't really spoken much at all with LSPD. But to be honest, part of that is because it doesn't feel like anyone's really investigating much anymore. I mean, I was providing as much information as I could when people were actively investigating, but now what I give information to the marshals, but uh, they don't really seem to be doing much. And then I haven't spoken much with LSPD, but BCSO has been told they can't investigate this anymore.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. I also don't know if you were made aware of the situation with me getting sick.
No.
Basically, long story short, Charlotte Spade was on her third strike. So Pestilence was giving her strikes. Each time she did something, got in the way or whatever. Her two final strikes weren't her fault. She got her third strike. We were near the lighthouse, sitting by the island, like on the shore, because Hope had led her to the island. She had called me saying, I feel like there's flowers here. I want to pick one, but I don't want to because Pestilence won't like that. And I convinced her not to. I convinced her to leave the island, come back to shore, and I picked her up on the shore. But then, almost immediately afterwards, someone who I can't say who, drove up in his sports car, held us up at gunpoint, and forced Charlotte to swim to the island and pick a flower. Apparently, Pestilence had informed this person of the situation, and that's why he did it. But the moment Charlotte picked the flower, her vision disappeared. She went blind. She managed to get back to shore. Pestilence said, "This is your third strike. You're not going to survive the sickness." I did perhaps a stupid thing. I went back to Pestilence and I said, "Can I have one of her strikes?" And he said, "Okay." And he granted her mercy. And was it a stupid thing to do? Absolutely. But I would have done it for anyone. I hardly knew Charlotte at the time. We've become friends since. But I did not want to see the first casualty of this sickness. When there was something I could do about it. And then a couple of days later, Pestilence gave a cure to someone, I think BCSO. I believe with the intention that it go to me, although I can't be 100% certain. But yeah, I got cured, and then Pestilence came to visit me the next day. Came to my house and said that he's glad I feel better. And that was kind of that. Charlotte's still sick. A couple of other people are still sick. I don't know if you saw a bunch of Cypress got sick like a couple days ago.
No, I didn't.
I think it's Cypress. I know that the people who went to, visit them at the hospital were Cypress, so I just assumed that they were Cypress. There's 3 people who apparently were hanging out in Tongva Valley, and Pestilence rolled up on them. He seems to do that a lot. Apparently, I mean, he's slow rolled past me a couple of times in the past week or so. Did the same to Charlotte, and apparently slow rolled Bobby Beldrum while he was having his, I guess, final face off with Benicio, where he spared his life. But yeah, so he's just going around.
Right.
And it seems like he's making people sick a little bit more indiscriminately than he has been. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know really what. I know that you don't. So instead, I guess I'll give you a bit of a warning.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the black muscle car with red headlights recently?
Black muscle car, red headlights? I don't think so. I mean, unless
That's good news.
I've seen Pestilence's car. I've never noticed
No.
whether it has red headlights, but the one with I think he used to have one with Plague as the license plate, but now he has one with Doctor as the license plate.
Yeah.
I've seen both, but I have not seen red headlights. Was that?
There's an individual who goes by the Chicken Man. He's
Chicken Man?
probably like 6'2", 6'3", above average build, but he normally wears a chicken mask on his head. He drives a black muscle car with red headlights. and I don't really know the best way to describe him other than he's on a similar level to the rest of them. Kind of thing
Interesting.
you can't just shoot down.
Right. So we've got what? War, pestilence, death, and chicken.
Chicken Man. Yeah.
Chicken man. Okay. It's not what I expected for famine, but okay.
I don't think he's famine.
No, he's just chicken man.
He does make me
Interesting.
hungry sometimes. So.
Hmm.
No, as in
Interesting.
not literally. I just I see the chicken and I get hungry.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I have to
No,
get
that
back
makes sense. That makes
KFC.
sense. Yep. Yeah.
But
Well, it's Knoxville Fried Chicken. It's good place. Weird management though.
yeah,
Okay. I mean, I will keep my eye out for. Is he like the others in the? I mean, from what I've so far seen, at least for my own interactions, it's been as long as I am respectful and no, not accusatory, not angry.
no,
They're
completely different.
oh,
Well, this
all
is
right.
like this is the best way to describe him is he's like a pit bull off the leash. Like
Oh, okay.
he's chased me
Dangerous.
down. He's rammed
Oh
my car
goodness.
off the road. I mean, he's been
Okay.
around the block. He's been around a long time. I don't know how long.
Really?
But at the same time,
Okay.
I have a theory that Pestilence might be holding the leash.
Ah, interesting. Okay, that might make some sense. Anything on famine?
The only thing I know is that Norman's hoping that they turn up soon.
Do you know who? And if you know but can't tell me, that's perfectly fine. There's someone who is maybe in ICU at Sandy Medical who is causing flies to constantly be all over Sandy Medical Center, and it's a person, and they won't tell me who it is, which makes sense, I guess, HIPAA regulation, whatever. But I heard uh, uh, Doc Masterson and Perry talking about it. Doc was like, "Why have there always been flies flying around Sandy Medical Center?" And Perry was like, "No, it's because of you know who in that recovery room." Um, and they all, both were like, "Ah," and they nodded all like knowingly. Uh, but I don't know who that is. Charlotte said that it's someone that I probably don't know, but someone who is most likely not famine, but is definitely related, she said. But I have no idea who it is.
I believe I know who it is, but again, that's
Okay.
not the kind of information you want to know.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine as long as you just don't think it's, famine, because I know there's a fly correlation.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think so. Um,
Okay.
I'm also. I'm sure you have a belief on who
Mm-hmm.
War may be. Who
Yes.
is it?
Apparently, Norman has confirmed that the Faceless is War.
Interest.
And I've seen the man. I know that it's an organization too. Um, but I imagine that he's more referring to the man, the one in the navy blue with the skull mask. And I've told you this before, but I've seen that man, go into buildings and then disappear, like, and yeah, and hear conversations that he definitely was not around for. So, it's he is. There's definitely the same level of, I don't know, uh, omnipotence.
Hmm. Yeah.
Just, yeah, he scares me more than the others. I think, just because it seems to me that Norman and Pestilence both do not have, the complete destruction of humanity at their. That's not their goal. Because if it were, they could just do it. Like they could just snap their fingers.
Sure, yeah.
We'd all be dead. And they've said it before that they're not trying to kill everyone and cause the end of the world. But war, I don't know. War seems more like he wants people, innocent civilians, to die until there's none left. But maybe I'm thinking about it all wrong. I mean, I haven't met him. But I was told basically by Matt that if he hasn't reached out to me yet, it's because he doesn't want to. And even if he wants something that he thinks I have, uh, he's not the kind of individual who's going to go to me for it. If he wanted to talk to me, he would. And the fact that he hasn't means that most likely he won't. He has his, I guess, in-group of people who he maybe not trusts, but who work for him. And he works through those people. He doesn't go out of his way to talk to others like Pestilence does, for example.
Yeah. Well, I can assure you that Norman absolutely wants a bang. So I think destruction of everything is certainly on his wish list.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, is it not maybe, at least according to his journal, it seems like his primary goal is, well, he is, uh, he is jaded, he is angry because of, he believes his brother was, dragged into the unknown by pestilence, which, again, I have a bit of a theory that that's not quite accurate. Um, but in addition to that, I know it seems like he kind of wants to find a successor.
I think maybe his plans might have changed. I think he's still on the way out.
But he wants to
Go out with a
take
bang
as
with
many
its
with him.
words.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. I at the risk of telling you something that is going to make you distrust me, for the sake of transparency and giving you more information, I will let you know that I have been trying to speak with Norman somewhat passively. Uh, I've left 2 notes now at the lighthouse because I I have this theory that his brother is not quite as dead as he believes, and
Don't
I
say anything. Do not mention Dr. Smith to Norman. That is a bad
I
idea.
I know it is, but I haven't talked to him yet, but I will tell you that my 2 notes that I have left for Norman about this, neither note says my name, and neither note says what I want to tell him. It just says I have information, essentially. I want to give information in good faith. But both notes have been taken before they reached him. I found out from the person who gave me his phone number yesterday that he has not gotten any of my notes, and either someone is just taking notes from the lighthouse because whatever, or
What the
someone
fuck?
knows the information that that I have and doesn't want that to get to him. The only person I can think of in that case would be Pestilence, which lends credence to the theory.
Am I going crazy?
Um, but I, I know how bad it is to mention that, but I, f- I feel as though this is different. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and maybe I will get smited. Um, but I mean, I would want to know if it were me.
I was
And
looking at the
I'll
Northern
tell you
Lights.
the
Looks
reasoning
like so
for it
blue.
is, I started thinking about it when I spoke to Pestilence about it, and he told me that he wants Norman Bones
There it
dead
is.
because Death is his brother, and he wants Death back, and Norman is tainting that, and Norman is making deals, and Pestilence hates that Norman is making deals because he thinks it goes against the balance of things, and he wants Norman Bones out of his brother. It's like a parasite. But I asked him about, if Norman has some level of influence over Death, does Isaac Smith not have some level of influence over Pestilence? And Pestilence he suddenly looked a little bit almost nervous. Like his eyes started flickering around, and he said, "No, Isaac's dead." Like very abruptly, Isaac's dead. There's nothing. He's got nothing on me, And then I noticed that, like right after that, the scarring on his face started moving around, like there were worms under his skin. I don't know if that's related at all. I don't know what that means, but there's it was like there were worms under his skin. Apparently, Ember also spoke with him and noticed that at some point he started like clenching his fists weirdly as if he was trying to stop himself from doing something, or like some sort of fight was happening internally. I also find it very interesting that he has been uncharacteristically kind to Ember. And notably, Ember went to Pestilence because her fiance is dying of something that she has no idea what to do about. It's something not Pestilence related, but Joe is dying and Ember doesn't know what to do. And so she went to the person that she thought could help, which was Pestilence. And after reading Norman's journal, it occurred to me that that's exactly what happened to Dr. Isaac. His wife, you know, was dying of something and he couldn't figure out how to fix it. And I there's some sort of familiarity that he must feel, I think, because he has shown such kindness to Ember. He gave her a token. No one else has received a token from him. He
And a token.
it was I think it was just a sewer penny, but he gave her one, and the next day when he came to me, this was after I got cured, and Pestilence came to speak with me. He was flipping a coin, the same kind of coin, like a sewer token. He was just flipping it in his hand. And so I don't know if there's something with the tokens, but I Ember's the only one who's gotten one from him. Um,
Interesting.
I I don't know if there's any relevance to it, but it just seems like, I don't know, he has been very helpful to her and uh, has I don't know, shown some odd level of kindness where Ember trusts him. She calls him like the old man, and she goes to him for things. I don't really know. Um, but that sort of made me feel like there's a little bit of Isaac left. Um, yeah.
When I spoke to him the other day, he seems to be implying that his role is not only to cause us pain and suffering, in an attempt to remind us that we're alive, but also
Kind
to
of him. No sarcasm.
but also to make sure that we persist. I think he has
Yes.
some fucked up idea that if we suffer and we feel pain, then we get stronger and we go on.
What he told me the first time I ever spoke with Pestilence, when he called me on the phone, um, he explained to me that, and I guess it kind of makes sense to me, that illness causes advancement. We, you know, not necessarily the pain of it and the suffering, but when, scientific advancement is created of necessity. And if there is no necessity, then we do not advance. Maybe, you know, medicine in San Andreas is so fantastic that perhaps there is no need for research. And then suddenly we've got an illness that we cannot figure out how to fix. And notably, uh, Perry aside, and Perry's situation is a little different because apparently she called him a mad scientist or something, but the doctors haven't gotten sick. Neither have EMS. Um, they're researching this. They're very close to it. They encounter a lot of people. They're not in hazmat. But Dr. Legs told me is that Pestilence even told him he doesn't want Dr. Legs to get sick because he has a role to play, and someone needs to play that role. Someone needs to be researching this. I think that that's perhaps what an impartial Pestilence would be doing. I don't think that Pestilence is impartial in the same way that I don't think Norman Bones is impartial. Perhaps death itself is impartial, but Norman has corrupted that to some extent, and maybe the same is true of Pestilence. I mean, the fact that he has even shown himself to us implies that there is some imbalance going on. Otherwise, we would just simply continue to have disease and have no face or name to put to it. But from what he is, a plague is just what begets advancement, and it's not just. He talks about not just biological plagues like illnesses and viruses, but plagues of hysteria, plagues of misinformation, plagues of hatred and violence, things that are contagious person to person. Um, he is responsible for all of those. Notably, he told me that he does not bother himself with love because it does not spread easily enough.
Interesting. Well, listen, um, I think we'll catch up again soon, but I think notably,
Yeah.
if your plans to talk to Norman about Isaac, I'll warn you that 7, 8 years ago, when we brought Isaac into this by talking about him, half my body died from necrosis, and so did I nearly.
Goodness.
So
I'm glad you made it. I'm
be careful.
I'm going to be very careful about what I say. I mean, I imagine I will start with, if there's information, would you like to hear it? It's not. I'm not trying to convince him of anything. I'm not trying to tell him. I just I just feel as though if it were me, I would want to know. I will be careful as I can be. Um, but yeah, I appreciate that. I want to help as much as I can with this, and I hope that I'm glad you're still working on all of this because the amount of nothing that was happening for a while there made me feel like, and I know that perhaps this is a silly thing to think. I'm just me. I'm not a marshal. I'm not an investigator, but it felt like if if I continued to learn things and know that no one was doing anything about it, then I would have to, I guess, go on my own investigation because it seems like the world is at stake here, and I don't know. I'm happy to leave it to the professionals when the professionals are doing it.
I understand completely.
Then again, I do hope that I have a valuable insight sometimes, and if there's ever questions that you have, or if you want to just, I don't know, share a bulletin board of red strings, I'm happy to discuss.
I appreciate that, Princess.
Yep.
Good luck and Godspeed.
You as well, Dark.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.
Well, she might be dead.